guys, it's Emmy. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I am here to kind of talk about the Season 6 update. The Dumpa video is currently in the works, and it's almost done being edited. I was actually going to post it tonight, but I want to wait until all of the patch notes drop just to make sure that I'm not posting old information that is going to be completely invalidated by something that they come out with. By this point that I'm recording this, they have finished the update show, but they have not updated the patch notes. I kind of wanted to talk about the supports and exactly what we could expect to change with them in this upcoming patch and my opinions on it. As always, this is my opinion and my opinion only. It is not word, it is not fact, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. This is just my opinion of what might happen and how I kind of perceive these changes going. And if you disagree with that and you think these are either the best or the worst changes ever, that's fine. I totally understand. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on what you think should have been done. So, the healer shifts in Season 6. What does it mean? What does it change in our playstyles? What does it change for people playing against supports? So, for us as healers, it's going to change what cards are going to be used and what talents are going to be used, how you play with those talents, and what your playstyle is going to be with each talent. As of right now, playstyles can be different with talents, but in this update, they're going to become polarly different, and it's really going to dictate how you play the game. Prior, if someone chose a damage card, such as a binary star Genos, and that was your only healer, it wasn't a lost game. You were able to actually heal still, and it was still a viable game. With this update, they're trying to make it so that if you go a damage support, healing really isn't on the table for you. Sure, you can do a little bit, but it's not really going to be enough to sustain your team. The way they're doing this is they're taking the 3 talents, and they're going to be giving passive labels to them: Curative, Remedy, and Surgery. Curative will be your healing-based card. Gain 20% healing done. Remedy will be your hybrid base card, gain 10% healing and plus 5% damage done. And Surgery will be your damage based talent, gain 10% damage done. There are currently only 3 champions that they have this integrated with in PTS. The only champions you can play that has this put in their kit so far is Pip, Furia, and Grover. There is a caveat to this new system. They will be nerfing the base damage and healing of each healer so that you are punished for not choosing the healing card if you're trying to be the healer. And if you are trying to do damage, you cannot do as much damage. It's trying to make it so that you have to go one way or the other, not both. Even the hybrid card isn't great. So let's look at each of the champions who have it integrated already. We're going to start with Pip because his are really simple and easy to understand. So what nerfs is Pip getting to his base kit? Well, let's start for starters. His main fire used to do 600 damage. It will now do 570 a shot. His potion does not seem to be nerfed. For his talents, his mega potion is going to be the hybrid. His catalyst is going to be the damage, and combat medic is going to be his healing. So Pip at base is not nerfed with his potions. So at the very least, even if you play Catalyst, it is nerfing your self-healing, but you will still have that 1000 burst with your potion. Furia, on the other hand, she has some interesting changes. Her healing was nerfed from 1000 to 800, and her healing over time as well. Her beam and her damage was also nerfed. She's down to 570 per shot. And for her talents, her Cherish is going to be her hybrid, her Exterminate is going to be her damage, and Solar Blessing is going to be her healing. I am not a huge fan of this. This does nerf Cherish super hard. I understand that Solar Blessing is what they decided to go with as the healer card because it does such a huge output. However, I think Cherish would have been a better one because I see people play offensively with Solar Blessing all the time since you can land it on an enemy. So I honestly think that Solar Blessing and Cherish should be switched. Cherish being the healing and Solar Blessing being the hybrid. Grover is the last one up. They didn't seem to nerf his axe damage, but they did nerf his healing numbers on his base kit. His talent changes are going to be Rampant Blooming as the healing card, Ferocity as the damage card, and Deep Roots as his hybrid card. I actually think these are spot on and great, but all the healers aren't going to be this straightforward. So with these changes, that means that you as a healer are going to have to go a full healing build. So for people who play Lilith and don't really like the Cursed Accord talent, so you play Maelstrom of Carnage for your healing Lilith, it might not be as viable now, because that will probably be her hybrid card, with Cursed Accord being her main healing talent. So it's going to heavily reduce what talents are viable for us as healers, and also reduce what's viable for damage supports. Why I don't play damage support very much, I know that it is a beloved playstyle by a lot of people, and I don't think it's fair to completely erase it out of the game. However, I don't think that this is necessarily the way to go, since this is just going to make double support come back with a full damage support and then a full healing support. There's really no need for damages if you have that amount. So now that we understand exactly how supports are being changed in this update, I kind of want to talk about how I feel that this is going to affect the meta and my prediction of what meta Evil Mojo is trying to lead us into. I think the meta that they're trying to lead us into is one that is definitely movement based. Judging by the nimble buffs and the mass riding buffs and the remounting, I feel that that is trying to lead us in a direction more towards movement, and I've seen that in a lot of characters. I'm thinking Androxus, Maeve, Vora, the fast movement champions who do a lot of damage. I think they're trying to lean more back towards that damage and flank meta. However, with the changes they've made to support, I really don't know if that's the way this is going to go. What they've done with support has made it more so that double support is going to be reinforced, in my opinion. So to me, and this is just my personal experience, the double support meta has not been really prominent for a while. I feel that I haven't really seen a ton of double support, and when I have, I really haven't had too much of an issue with them. Sure, they may cap and push the first time, but past that, the anti-heal really has been helpful in that regard. So I'm not really seeing where we needed to step in with that double support. The sustain meta maybe, but Guardian was buffed, so I failed to see how we're countering the sustain meta. So to me, what it seems like is you'll have a full healing build healer, and then a full damage build support. So it will start eliminating the need for damages and flanks like we're seeing now, but even more so. So I'm not really sure if this change is going to be beneficial, and in my personal play, with especially Furia, I feel like she's just not as useful anymore. I can't play with her the same way I did before, and that's definitely going to take some getting used to. I did try out her Cherish card and her Solar Blessing card, and even then, she's just not as great as she used to be. I struggle to keep my team up in the way that I used to be able to with her. So in the end, I'm not really sure about these support changes. I'm interested to see what happens when they implement them in all the characters and what cards they're going to choose, which I talk about a little later. But I wonder how this is going to affect the meta and its current changing. Is it going to regress us back to double support? Small update. Thunderbrush on Twitter, the art director of Paladins, did let us know that the remounting will not be put in patch 1. So this seems like something that they said in the stream, but may not be coming to fruition. So take a pause on the remounts. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should it be in the game? Should it not? What's your opinion? So my predictions for each champion and what their talents are going to be made for them are based on just what Evil Mojo has done so far and what makes the most sense. So for Ying, I think what makes the most sense is Focusing Lens being her damage, Life Exchange being her healing, and Resonance being her hybrid. For Cirrus, I feel like Soul Collector would be her damage, Mortal Reach would be her healing, and Agony would be her hybrid. For Ray, as sad as it makes me, I think Extension would definitely be her healing talent, Restraint would be her damage, and Focus would be her hybrid. With Aya, she kind of becomes a difficult one because she has two talents that are pretty healing based. Sacrifice will obviously be her damage, however, I'm thinking that Goddess Blessing may be her healing and Lifelink will be her hybrid one. As much as it pains me to say it, I think that Ripened Gourd will be his healing talent, and Spirit's Chosen will be made his hybrid talent. Wakono's Wrath will obviously be his damage. I don't think Ripened Gourd is very good. I've said that multiple times, and it would make me sad to see his worst talent become his healing talent for us. For Genos, I think it's very simple. Luminary would be his healing talent, Binary Star would be his damage talent, and Power Cosmium would be his hybrid. Grok is also a bit of a difficult one, but I think the Maelstrom would be his damage, Spirit's Domain would be his healing, and Totemic Ward would be his hybrid. For Lilith, I think Cursed Accord is going to be her healing, Maelstrom of Carnage will be her hybrid, and Murderous Intent will be her damage. Corvus is probably the most difficult for me to figure out, but my prediction will be Stunning Visage as damage, Spreading Influence as hybrid, and Dark Gifts as healing. I think there are some supports that will take heavier nerfs than others with this new mechanic that they're implementing, namely Io and Dumba, just because the talents that they will either be buffing or nerfing will be so detrimental to them that it won't be very helpful. So Dumba's Ripen Gourd being his healing card is not something that a lot of people use, and so it's going to be a nerf to Mending Spirits, which is, in my opinion, his best talent. And with Io, she's already had some healing nerfs recently, so I think this is going to make her a little bit weaker as well. These are just my predictions. None of this is fact, none of this is backed up. It is all my opinion. So my opinion on the new champion Nyx that's coming out as a frontline, I think she's really going to shake things up, and I think she's going to be a really interesting champion. I'm not particularly someone who has super polarizing opinions about champions that are coming out, especially until they get released into the main game and not just PTS, because I feel like they can change so much in that time period. I feel like her playstyle is interesting, and I feel like played correctly, she can be a real menace in the game. I think she can also be a great tank to be healing with her passive that she gets 20% extra healing the closer she is to point. I think that'll be really fun. As far as her kit, I'm not really sure about it because it's not the kit I was expecting. I'm a little confused. I originally had seen the data leaks, which was more of a hound based build, which I'm not sure if that was the Evil Mojo team tricking us for data mining, or if that's a separate champion that we're getting another time, or possibly her original kit and they changed later. There's a lot of possibilities, but I enjoy the champion we currently got now, and I hope that the tank mains have a really good time with her. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'd love if you like and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love you to be a part of it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this Season 6 update. I am only talking right now off of the update show and what has been said on Twitter. The patch notes have not been updated as of now, and obviously I'm also speaking on my play experience on PTS. So let me know what you think. Do you hate it? Do you love it? I'd love to know. I will see you guys in the next one, which I promise will be the Maldumba.